how would God speak to another if God could speak through you? Because it is quiet and still now, the Buddha of the golden pink glow ray is here with us to share a little bit. And it's all about the year 2026, wherein we are being called to live consciously as grateful gardeners, luminous lovers of God, mindful meditators, compassionate caregivers, studious servitors, and prayerful provocateurs, in the sense that we provoke God and God's emissaries to intercede in our world in order to bring about that divine intercession and mediation so that mankind can indeed wake up to what is real, what is fortuitous, both individually and collectively, individually for each one of us as sons and daughters of God, for our families, our communities, our greater community of our nations, and our world. So to live consciously means to act in accordance with God's higher laws, purposefully, considerately, carefully and caringly, with a quiescent mind that is able to cognize the higher divine thoughts of God, the ideations of the universal white brotherhood, and that high ideal that it represents through the ascended masters. When we live consciously, we live both lovingly and wisely. And this is why the golden pink glow ray is, even as a signet of the heart center, and that rose that we have on our home page and that we utilize in meditation. This is why the balance of our heart and our mind through love wisdom is so important, to bring us consciously to that space where we can receive new progressive revelatory teaching. We can receive direct information from our own higher self and from the Ascended Masters who guide, guard, and direct us, and our own guardian angel. We can be mindfully moving into this new year with divine thoughtfulness, with the utmost gratitude for what we have been given by God, our very life, our heartbeat, our breathing, and everything in our environment that so magnanimously affords us the opportunity to be disciplined in our spiritual practices and to engage. So it is a year of engagement, divine engagement at every level of our world and our life. If we're not engaged, where are we? We're just lax and we're waiting and we're sitting back on the sidelines of life. When we're engaged, there's an active principle of divine will and virya that enters through our will to, in accord with God's will, by God's grace, even perform miracles or bring about the most beautiful co-creative works of the Spirit. So let 2026 be so engaging for you that it's like you have a new engagement, a new divine love life, where every thought and feeling is suffused with this sense of gratitude and thankfulness and beauty and harmony and peace and equanimity, that everything just magically unfolds as you planned your life before you incarnated, and as you are continuing to live out that planned and beatific life in harmony with God, in attunement with your source, your I am presence. When we have this heart and mind set that for an entire cycle around the sun, 365 and a quarter days, we will be virtuous. We will be our brightest, our best, our most luminous, in the sense that we can do more by God's grace through the Christ presence within us that inspires us, and the Holy Spirit who overshines us. We can engage at a more profound level than ever before, no matter what our age, because hopefully we're wiser, and hopefully we have a little bit more love and understanding and compassion than we've ever had. Hopefully we'll be kinder, more charitable, more empathic, more merciful, more forgiving, all these 8 heart virtues of the Buddha. And if we can just add a little bit of a greater momentum of this heart fire and mindfulness to our everyday life, we will be victors. And we will see at the end of this coming year that we will have done magic by God's grace. The magic moves through us. Remember that term. The magic will move through you when you surrender to God's will and you abide in the presence and you are fortuitous in how you plan in accord with the highest principles, values, and precepts of life, living according to the golden rule, mindfully considering every person in your life from the vantage point of God. How would God speak to another if God could speak through you? Consider that, and then every word that proceedeth out of your mouth, and every feeling through your solar plexus, and every divine emotion through your heart, and every thought through your gracious mind will be impressed and etched with the living vital energies of the heaven and its persuasiveness to bring everyone into a new light. So 2026 is the opportunity to live in a new divine light. It's brighter and brighter as you go higher and higher in the divine atmosphere of the etheric octaves in your meditative practices, when you touch the garment of God and feel those holy impulses that come to you as this expression in a new and dynamic way of an aspect of God that's meant for you to know and experience in those sacred moments of contemplative, silent meditation through stillness. Yesterday, we had about 100 Canadian geese on our property walking around and chewing on the grass underneath the snow. And it was amazing to see how they just did that, without judgment, without analysis, just observing. As like a community, 100 of them, at least 100. They took up a huge swath of our property around the south end of our Paneurythmy circle and the labyrinth. And they, for a while, they just were sitting there, all sitting there. They weren't even walking, enjoying life with their ability to deal with the cold. And I was reflecting on this and thinking, how great is God, that God created all these creatures in the universe that are so special in their own way. The geese that fly in a V formation, that honk and urge the leader onward to lead them to wherever they're going, north or south or wherever. Imagine your leader, God within you, an Ascended Master sponsor, maybe a noble teacher who you trust because that one is humble and God directed, leading you and urging you this year, 2026, upward and onward through a new path of oneness that will carry you on the wings of angels to a new, precipitative, joyful state of being where you actually can live more in an ecstatic state, an infinite state of presence, where you feel the dynamism of that light, that energy that flows from on high to the vessel of your being and allows you to just always be grateful, always be courteous, always be kindly toward everyone, everything, every animal, plant, person, angel, rock, whatever. Our family went to Yellowstone Park 2 days ago, and we drove quite a way, almost an hour into the park, Lamar Valley, and we saw probably over 100 buffalo, or actually they're bison. And I found out in Montana they're bison. In Africa they're buffalo. So the correct term in Montana is bison. Over 100, a huge, another community. And they were just amazing creatures. And they crossed the road before us at one point with this one huge bull that was just, we didn't want to get in its way. And they're so slow and gracious, and they're not mean-spirited. They're just part of a great community. Amazing. What community are you part of? Well, you're obviously, if you're listening or watching today, you consider yourself really a member of our holy Heart Center community. And I say holy because our purpose is to be holy and loving and godly. Yet there's other communities that you may be part of in your local community, maybe a local Heart Center or Heart Friends group, or other activities that you engage in. Some of you move in a number of circles. You help people locally. And I know many of you give in amazing ways that you don't talk about because it's private and you don't desire to puff up your ego in any way. God bless you for all of your givingness and the communities that you serve within, wherever you live, move, and have your being, because in order to ascend, we have to fulfill all the 12 aspects of being and the 12 lines of the clock, the 5 crystal rays and the 7 major rainbow rays. We have to fulfill each and every aspect of those so that we can be complete. And we develop that rainbow body, that beautiful rainbow body that speaks to the world that here is one who has manifest mastery on the 7 rays, and here is one who is loving within all 7 rays, and giving within all 7 rays, and responsive within all 7 rays. I've been contemplating the rainbow body more and more as I get older, and how important it is to be balanced, to be harmonious, balanced and harmonious in all things. If we can live in balance and in harmony, as I shared recently, we'll have all the abundance that we require. Yet that balance and that harmony is, as a masterful state, one which we have to strive to maintain and live within as a field of energy. It's a harmonic of blessedness, a harmonic of blessedness. And it's a beautiful state of being. That's what this is, a beautiful state of being and a harmonic of loveliness too. When you are lovely, there's no spite in you, there's no reactivity of negativity in your heart. You simply are observant, non-judgmental, and you care enough to hold your tongue sometimes when you could speak and maybe erupt a little bit into something that you later regret. The more wise I get, I believe that I hold my tongue more, because if the ego just edges in a little bit, watch out, oh tongue. It can really be a detrimental thing in your life. So let us gratefully and graciously carve out in 2026 this state of being where every word that we speak is magnanimous, is positive, is empathic, encouraging, and even lovely. Calling out those beautiful things in another's world and life and countenance that are transcendent and God-directed. Let us be observant of others' virtues rather than their vices. Let us be always considerate of what will magnify the Lord and glorify God in our world and others' worlds every day and every hour. If we can do this, then we live in accord with this conscious state of being where the golden pink glow ray is so bright that it shines radiantly through our whole aura. That peach color, like this silk scarf that Maitreya wears around his neck that we see in this image before me. The beautiful light peach color. There's a reason why Maitreya wears that color. He is the empathic and very studious exponent of loving kindness. And kindness has a way about it that is very wise. It's wise to be kind, because why? If we're not kind, we're going to make some karma. So it's a lot wiser to be kind than to be dispirited and judgmental. So he learned long, long ago that it's much better to be kind. In order what? To illumine the world and help to co-create a new era of freedom, enlightenment, brother, sisterhood, and divine love. So wear peach often this coming year as a self-reminder that I am living in accord with what the Buddha of the Golden Pink Glow Ray has shared on this December 28th, in order that I'm choosing to be loving and mindful in balance. I'm choosing to be wise and compassionate at all times. I'm choosing consciously to live in accord with that beautiful golden rule, and we could even call it the golden pink rule now. Because when you live in accord with doing unto others as you would desire others to do unto you, love is there. Love is always there. So it's golden, and now it's also pink. So we'll rename it the golden pink rule of life in honor of these beautiful Buddhas and divine mothers who, through their mindfulness, are always inspiring, always blessing, always raising, always encouraging, and helping us to recommit to living a path of divine love and divine wisdom, and thereby empowered by God's will. So again, be a gracious gardener or a grateful gardener, a mindful meditator, a compassionate caregiver, a studious servitor, a luminous lover, and a prayerful provocateur, where you, through your powerful, dynamic invocations, prayers, decrees, fiats, and Fohatic energy, you provoke heaven to intercede in the earth to help every living being, to help our planet, to help our environment, and to awaken illumine and enlighten, and then ultimately to help each individual become self-realized and ascend. God bless all of us. God bless you.